And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Thanks for joining us as we recap the action from this past week in horse racing. Let's begin on a positive note, though, in thoroughbred racing with the stunning news out of Chicago that a proposal made late Monday from Chicago area tracks might allow Arlington International to run a limited race meet in 1995. Last week, Arlington's owner, Dick Duchossois, announced he was shutting down his $200 million facility next year when he could get no relief from the Illinois legislature to allow the track to compete against the state's new riverboat casinos. The deal worked out Monday would involve moving racing dates among the area tracks. It would guarantee purses at Arlington for a 55-day meeting, June through September. That would include the Arlington Million and their Big Turf Festival. That would be down from 131 dates of this year. The Illinois Racing Board chairman called the deal mind-boggling, but said he expects it to win approval with some minor changes. Well, let's begin now with our thoroughbred feature race of the week from Southern California. It's the Grade 1 Hollywood Turf Cup. The purse, $500,000 for this 1.5 mile test over a firm turf course. Let's meet the field now for the 14th running of the Turf Cup. Southern Wish at 7-1, one of the shorter prices in the field here. Then it goes to Dare and Go, the 9-5 favorite. Savinio getting some support at 5 with Chris McCarron. And Linden Lime at 8-1. Rounding out the field, River Flyer getting support at 5-2 under Chris Santley. Now for the call, we'll join Ed Burgard in for the vacationing Trevor Denman.
And away they go in the Hollywood Turf Cup. Came away to a pretty nice start. And that square cut as expected, heading off for the lead. Dare and Go showing speed today, and Dare and Go has himself a good spot in second. Southern Wish is tucked in down along the inside, and River Flyers now moving up on the outside as just 2.5 lengths separates the first four. Regency down along the inside, and outside of Regency comes Mashallah. Back in seventh is Savinio, 6 lengths off the lead, followed on the outside by London Lime. French Park is back in ninth, a big gap of 8 lengths back to Truly a Dream. And the trailers, they pass the stands for the first time. That trailer is Jack Diddy. And down along the inside, we have Square Cut, now River Flyer coming up on the outside. And in between those two is Dare and Go. Back and forth is Southern Wish in a good spot, 2.5 lengths off the lead. And Regency down along the insides in fifth. Outside of Regency comes Mashallah. London Lime's in seventh, and Savinio saving ground 6 lengths off the lead. French Park is back in ninth. French Park spots that leader 8 lengths. Then it's a big gap of 12 lengths back to Truly a Dream. And Jack Diddy still at the end. As they make their way around the clubhouse turn and down along the inside, it's still Square Cut getting pressure from River Flyer. Then it's a length and a half back, and Dare and Go going along well enough in third. Regency's tucked in down along the inside, and Southern Wish on the outside. This feels pretty well compact. Savinio's only 2.5 lengths off the lead, and London Lime outside of Savinio. French Park is going along well enough. Then it's a big gap of 10 lengths back. The trailers are still Truly a Dream and Jack Diddy. As they make their way past the half-mile pole and down along the inside, we still have Square Cut and River Flyer going head-and-head on the lead. A length and a half back to Southern Wish and Regency down along the inside. Dare and Go's now moving to the outside, 4 lengths off the lead, and Savinio begins to close in down along the inside. The long shot French Park making up ground 7 lengths off the lead, and on the extreme outside comes London Lime. Between those two is Mashallah. As they approach the quarter pole, and it's still the long shot Square Cut and River Flyer, and these two have been dueling every step of the way. A length and a half back, and we have Southern Wish. Now Dare and Go being asked to come after him on the outside, and Dare and Go's coming in gamely, and closing in from far behind is French Park, and Corey Black has French Park coming on fast on the outside. With less than 3/16 of a mile to the finish, Dare and Go gets a lead, but French Park threatening to cause a major upset in the Hollywood Turf Cup, and French Park is coming on best of all for Corey Black. A 16th of a mile to the finish, and French Park now gets a lead. A length and a half from Dare and Go. Regency's coming on gamely in third, but it's going to be French Park and Corey Black to win the Hollywood Turf Cup. Dare and Go second, and Regency third.
The 35-1 long shot French Park wins the Hollywood Turf Cup under jockey Corey Black, the trainer Terry Knight, and new owner Joseph Cowell, who, by the way, is a former Buffalo Sabre of the National Hockey League. And I do mean that Joe is a new owner. He purchased his 4-year-old colt bred in Great Britain the day before the race on Saturday from Hubert Guy, one of the top bloodstock agents, for $200,000. The winner's purse in his first start, $275,000. Favorite Dare and Go was 3 lengths back in second. Another long shot Regency got the show spot. The Daily Racing Form Race Horse Digest is brought to you by America's Turf Authority, the Daily Racing Form, by the Breeders' Cup, racing's year-round national stakes program, the United States Trotting Association, leading the way in harness racing, and by Gainsborough Farm.
takes 7 races at 7 racetracks. And what do you get? The National Best 7, Thoroughbred Racing's exciting new wager, and nobody's got it covered like daily racing form. Inside each special edition, you'll find the facts, figures, and focus you need to pick the winners. Complete, accurate, and available on newsstands 24 hours before the races. The National Best 7 edition is simply the best information you can get. Give the National Best 7 your best shot. Buy a copy today.
Discover the advantage for Thoroughbred Racing in Illinois. When you invest in Thoroughbred Racing in Illinois, you can share in the richest Thoroughbred Awards program in the country. To learn more about the Illinois advantage, contact the Illinois Department of Agriculture today.
Royalty has come to quarter horse racing. Hawaii's Princess Abigail Kawananakoa, owner of All-American Futurity winner A Classic Dash. Champions from Abigail's Royal Broodmare Band include Time to Take Off, Dam of All-American Derby winner Royal Down Dash, ranked 3rd nationally, and the Golden State Futurity winner Time for Royal Cash. Other champion producers are Florentine, Take You On, Lady Juno, Trippy Dip, Perks, and Triple Sail. Royal winners from the stables of Abigail Kawananakoa.
Last year, America's fastest athlete raced at more than 100 tracks in North America for some $50 million in purses. Get in on the action of owning your very own Racing American quarter horse. Call 1-800-414-RIDE to receive a free guide to owning America's fastest athlete. Discover how easy it is to buy at auction, claim a racehorse, choose a trainer, determine cost, and much more. 1-800-414-RIDE is your ticket to owning and racing America's fastest athlete.
Let's move to the sprint stars now, the equine world, the American quarter horse. 3 big races from this past week will start in Texas at Trinity Meadows. A major event there for 2-year-olds, the $237,000 plus Speed Horse Sprint Futurity at 400 yards. Of the 10 that lined up here, the crowd liked the outside horse, the Guthrie Kid, making him the 8-5 choice. Others like Texas Classic Futurity runner-up, BF Neutron Dance, and fastest qualifier, Clickin' On.
Off in the Speed Horse Sprint Futurity. From between rivals, it's Easy Johnny Jet going quickly to the front. Lavish Me moving up on the outside and second to the inside. BF Neutron Dance, Miss Vibrant Jet is next. The Guthrie Kid on the extreme outside. In mid-stretch with the lead, that's Easy Johnny Jet. Easy Johnny Jet.
Long shots rule here in the Speed Horse Futurity at Trinity with 9-1 Easy Johnny Jet coming home first, while 21-1 Mark Stones and 16-1 Lavish Me dead heat for second. Easy Johnny Jet is a gelded son of Saloon out of Miss Jet Flash Boone, ridden by Jesse Sosita for trainer Roe Gordon and owner James Wade. The victory, the 5th of Easy Johnny Jet's 10-race career. He's now earned more than $148,000. The race directly preceding the Futurity, the $98,450 Speed Horse Sprint Derby. The 4-horse Six a Runner is the 7-5 choice, but this race, too, would go to a long shot.
In the rough in the Speed Horse Sprint Derby. From between rivals, it's Cash from Texas going to the front. To the outside is Blazing Stones there in second. Coming on is Higher Yet. Also between rivals is a Dimples Dash. But now Six a Runner gets underway and draws clear to field. It's Six a Runner with the lead. Six a Runner, Cash from Texas. Six a Runner gets there. Cash from Texas on the outside.
Hold everything. Let's check the photo on the outside. It's actually 16-1 Cash from Texas, who just managed to get up by a nose, and the jockey Sam Thompson beating the favorite Six a Runner here in the Speed Horse Sprint Futurity. Behind those two, Blazing Stones with jockey Kevin Cogburn. The winner, a real head-scratcher. This Texago star gelding has now started 15 times this year with only 4 wins. It is good enough Sunday to take this $98,000 stake. Cash from Texas, trained by Leon Bard for Lyco Electric. We're in New Mexico now at Sunland Park for their $69,000 fall Futurity. The fastest qualifier, number 9, Miss Achy Breaky Heart.
There they go. In the Sunland Park Fall Futurity, and Miss Achy Breaky Heart got out quickly to take the lead. Bet the Cash is right there on the inside. Clear Conscience. It's Clear Conscience on the inside. Got him looking from between horses. Bet the Cash, Miss Achy Breaky Heart, and Go Easy Go Jet. It's got him looking from between horses over Miss Achy Breaky Heart. Got him looking in front of 3-horse photo.
Well, the photo showed Got Him Looking winning the fall quarter horse futurity despite his slow start there at the break under jockey Billy Peterson. Peterson then collects the son of Streakin' Six and urges him on to this nose win over Go Easy Go Jet and fastest qualifier Miss Achy Breaky Heart. The win just the second major stakes victory for the jockey Peterson after taking the Grade 1 West Texas futurity with Andrew's easy effort last April. Got Him Looking earned more than $34,000 in the fall quarter horse futurity, nearly 5 times as much as the colt had earned prior to this race. He's trained by Antonio Hernandez for owner Osvaldo Rodriguez. For more information on quarter horse racing, contact the American Quarter Horse Association at 1-800-414-RIDE.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're back.
Hello?
$20 million is lost in the desert.
I want that gold!
And now, so are they.
Which way is north?
Up. Castle Rock Entertainment is proud to present Billy Crystal, Daniel Stern, John Lovitz, and Jack Palance.
Ah, you thought I was dead, didn't you?
City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold.
When introduced, Chrysler Concorde was named Automobile of the Year. Now it comes with the lease of the year, only $279 a month. With Concorde, you get the protection of anti-lock brakes, dual airbags, the comfort of air conditioning, 4-speed automatic transmission, power windows, and more. Now you get it for only $279 a month. Chrysler Concorde, an eloquent expression of form following function. Now for only $279 a month.
Sports news from ESPN all day, every day.
95 cents per minute. Call 1-900-996-ESPN.
Back to the Thoroughbred tracks now for this week's race recap as we return to Hollywood Park. Saturday's feature at the Inglewood track, the $105,000 Vernon Underwood Breeders' Cup race for sprinters. A name in here you will surely recognize, the 1993 Breeders' Cup Sprint champion Cardmania came back from injury to finish third in this year's Breeders' Cup Sprint. But the favorite's role belonged to Wakiva Springs, despite the fact he was only making his second start since January.
Gundagi on fourth, and now Wakiva Springs is coming on gamely. Wakiva Springs is 5 lengths off the lead. Concept Win is outside of Wakiva Springs. Cardmania has 8 lengths to make up, and Saratoga Gambler with a quarter of a mile to the finish, and Gotta Groove is the leader from Gundagia. Demalu Demashut is also right there, and now Living Dangerous on the outside is Wakiva Springs. We'll find out how good this 3-year-old is now in Wakiva Springs. Now coming on gamely, and Cardmania closing in from behind. Even Lost Pan with a 16th of a mile to the finish. Wakiva Springs from Gundagia. Down along the inside is Gotta Groove, and Cardmania coming on fast on the outside. Wakiva Springs, Cardmania on the outside. Wakiva Springs to win the Vernon Underwood.
Wakiva Springs follows up a September Del Mar allowance win with this half-length victory over Cardmania here in the Vernon Underwood. That makes it 5 in a row for this son of runaway groom out of Jetting Angel. Ridden here by jockey Kent Dusermo. By the way, his 4th winner of the day. Trainer Bob Hess says that Wakiva Springs will next head to the Stroob Series, though he's not sure if the colt will start in the first leg, the December 26th Malibu. To Florida now, Calder Racecourse for 2 stakes. First, Saturday's $150,000 W.L. McKnight handicap at 1.5 miles. Going for his 3rd straight win here, the favorite Star of Manila coming off an injury.
Pescagani leading by a head. Flying American just outside of him with Arundel. Moving to the far outside, Star of Manila. A quarter of a mile to go in the W.L. McKnight handicap. And it's Star of Manila that's moved up to get the lead. Moves off by 2.5. Pescagani weakens at the hedge. Arundel is next. Then toward the far outside, it's Spectacular Tide. Past the 8th pole. Star of Manila by 2.5. Spectacular Tide coming after him. Second toward the inside. Kissin' Chris rallies. Deep stretch, it's Star of Manila in front.
Well, Spectacular Tide makes a late charge, but it's not enough to catch the favorite Star of Manila in the McKnight. That's 3 in a row for Star of Manila, who's had his fair share of problems in '94, including ankle chips and a skin rash, just to name a couple. But this trouble-prone son of Manila will finish the year on a high note with his first graded stakes win. Trainer Burke Kessinger says Star of Manila will start next in the 1 3/8 Pan American at Gulfstream next year. The $32,000 Keeneland grad ridden here by Craig Perrette. Calder's Sunday feature, the 1 1/16 $100,000 What a Pleasure Stakes for 2-year-olds. Favorite here at 6 to 5, James Lewis's Mecky.
The field comes to the quarter pole. On the inside, it's Gold Miner with Suave Prospect outside of him. Now Suave Prospect moves up to get the lead. Gold Miner still right there second. It's 4 lengths back toward the outside. Mecki is third, then Indomitable. They come past the 8th pole. Suave Prospect now leads by a length. At the inside, Gold Miner is second, 4 lengths back. Mecki is third. Then comes Bet Your Bucks. They come to the wire. It's Suave Prospect and Renee Douglas. They take the What a Pleasure Stakes.
4-1 Suave Prospect grabs the first stakes win of his young career with this 2 1/4 length victory in the What a Pleasure under jockey Renee Douglas. Suave Prospect is a Florida-bred son of Fortunate Prospect. His trainer Lee Sherman hopes he's good enough to go on to the Classic Trail next year, pointing him towards the Florida Derby. By the way, Unbridled won this race, the What a Pleasure, back in 1989, before going on to win the Kentucky Derby the next year. Up the East Coast now to Friday night's feature at the Meadowlands, the Sea Cadet Stakes, named in honor of a past Meadowlands Cup winner there, who was, by the way, running just last week in the Native Diver at Hollywood. The $40,000 Sea Cadet won appropriately enough here by another Meadowlands Cup winner, Conveyor. He wires the field under jockey Joe Bravo in track record time 1:38.2. Besides piloting a record setter, Bravo is one himself. During the current Meadowlands meeting, his 142 wins in a single season bettered Julie Crone's old mark by 10 victories. His Mount Conveyor, a 6-year-old son of Sharpen Up, has now earned more than $764,000 in his career. Conveyor trained by Ben Perkins Sr. for Eb Novak's new farm. New York now to Aqueduct for Saturday's 85th running of the $75,000 added Queens County Handicap for 3-year-olds and up, going 1 mile and 3/16. No real standout here in this 8-horse field.
Contract Court is the leader. Key Contender is full out, trying to get to Contract Court, who's got the lead by 1.5 lengths. There's room at the inside for Jacksonport. Federal Funds is there in contention on the far outside. They're coming to the 8th pole now. It's Contract Court in front. On the outside, Federal Funds. Here comes Federal Funds to collar Contract Court. Jacksonport in tight at the rail, trying to come through a narrow opening. It's Federal Funds and Jacksonport, and Murray Guerin's horses will be 1-2.
That's right, Tom. Murray Guerin owns and trains both these horses. The 11-1 entry of Federal Funds in Jacksonport, running 1-2 here in the Queens County. The winner, Federal Funds, a name you may have seen in some graded stakes tests from this past spring and summer. Well, he finally scores his first career stakes win here. The 5-year-old by Settlement Day out of Most Excellent was ridden by jockey Dennis Carr. For the first time, the news appears optimistic that the Jockeys Guild and the Thoroughbred Racing Associations might be able to reach an agreement on a new contract to improve insurance benefits for the riders. The jocks are expected to vote on the proposal later in the week that hopefully avoid a January 1st strike. Well, a tragic end to the historic run of the Charlestown races in West Virginia. They ended 61 years of live racing on Sunday because of financial problems. Sunday was also the day, though, that jockey James Thornton died, 2 days after this spill during a race Friday night at the Charlestown races. Take a look at it now. You'll see him going off his mount there, and another horse runs over him. Thornton was 54 years old, only the 3rd fatality, I should say, in the 61-year history of the Charlestown races. It's time now for our Breeders' Cup Horse of the Week. We'll go back to November 25th, the Meadowlands in New Jersey. The $60,000 added Morven Breeders' Cup Premium Stakes. It's 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs here on the main track. The eventual winner was last through the first half mile and is wide coming out of the turn here into the stretch. But highest yield, the highest price in the field at 50-1, proved he was well named. The 2-year-old son of Settlement Day coming on the outside here out of the Affirm Mare Crown and Scepter, bred in Kentucky by Pin Oak Stable, would go on to upset the field here by half a length of the jockey Edwin King, coming up with a rush here in the Red Silks. Owned by Guy Burt, trained by Danny Pearlswick. Highest yield yielded $102.20 for the winner. Also $37,950 in purse, $15,000 from the Breeders' Cup. Here's an upcoming Premium Stakes race.
having an asthma attack. You need relief fast. What do you reach for? A brand you've never heard of? Or Primatene Mist? Well, more asthma sufferers trust Primatene Mist for relief without a prescription. It starts to open clogged breathing passages and relieve bronchial spasms in as fast as 15 seconds. So when you're having an asthma attack, trust Primatene Mist. Fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
It's yours?
No,
My mother said she found it in your closet.
I don't know. One of the guys
Must have what?
Look, Dad, it's
Where did you get it?
Dad,
Answer me. Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
Parents who use drugs have children who use drugs.
When you follow the races this winter, follow the best at Gulfstream Park. Watch nationally acclaimed stars produce the ultimate in thoroughbred racing excitement at Gulfstream January 4th through March 16th. 108 national champions have been a part of great winter racing at Gulfstream in the past, and this year promises to be the best ever. If you can't go to Gulfstream, you can watch Gulfstream Championship racing at a track near you. For schedules and post times, call your local racetrack or simulcast facility.
Time for this week's harness racing update, and for a bit of a review of the year 1994 in harness racing, let's join Dave Johnson.
Harness Racing's Horse of the Year will be announced Christmas week, and the outstanding 3-year-old pacing colt Cam's Card Shark should be a near unanimous selection. In a year that saw trotters dominate the headlines, the Shark Attack was the sport's headline performer. Here's Harness Racing's year in review. Cam's Card Shark was a highlight machine devouring his rivals from April through September. The Shark won 15 of his 18 starts, including the $1 million Meadowlands Pace on July 16th. And he set a single-season money record, earning $2.26 million for owner Jeffrey Snyder. But 1994 was a year that harness racing traditionalists and other lovers of the trotting gait will long remember. On a January afternoon in Paris, France, Germany's champion trotter Seacove tried to draw away from the field in the prestigious Prix d'Amérique, but he wound up struggling to hold on at the wire. The big news in May also came from overseas at the famed Elite Lop in Stockholm. Owner Lou Geida had Sweden up in arms with a pre-race boast that 1993 Trotter of the Year Pine Chip would crush the unbeaten Swedish champ Copiad. But the Swedes had the last laugh. Pine Chip faded and then broke stride after a memorable nose-to-nose battle. After the race, Pine Chip's connections blamed a broken knee boot for the defeat. After battling an illness upon his return home, Pine Chip again was in the news, and again it came in defeat. On July 8th at the Meadowlands, he set record-breaking fractions through 3 quarters. But in his first start since the Elite Lop, he weakened in the final 16th and beat the Wheel, who got the perfect trip, got the victory in the fastest trotting mile in history, 1:51 4/5. Pine Chip did have his moments of glory, however. One of those came on September 18th at the Delaware County Fairgrounds, where he obliterated the great Mac Lobel's all-time world record on a half-mile track with an awesome 1:54 victory. The $1.2 million Cadillac Hambletonian is harness racing's most prestigious trotting race. And when Victory Dream won the final in 1:54 1/5, he looked like he could become the sport's next superstar trotter. But in the $650,000 World Trotting Derby on September the 3rd at DuQuoin, Illinois State Fairgrounds, it was Bullville Victory who took the trophy after beating Bosphorus and Victory Dream in a deciding 3-horse race-off. Victory Dream looked for revenge at the Kentucky Futurity on October 7th. But after winning the first heat, he lost the next 2 to Bullville Victory, including the deciding match race. But the most exciting performer of 1994 was a 2-year-old trotting filly named CRK Susie. She's been called a freak, and with good reason. No other freshman trotter, colt or filly, has ever displayed such frightening speed. Here in the Mary Annabelle in August, she trotted the fastest mile ever by a 2-year-old, winning in an unheard of 1:55 1/5. But perhaps her most impressive effort at Freehold Raceway, when she won by an incredible 23.5 lengths in 1:56 3/5, making her the fastest freshman trotter ever on a mile, 5/8, and half-mile track. Her fans can't wait until next year.
Racing fans, get inside the exciting world of harness racing. Subscribe to Hoofbeats. Each month, Hoofbeats brings you inside news and features on leading horses, drivers, and trainers. Plus, exciting background on major races and the lore of the standardbred. Act now. Call 1-800-779-7788. For only $30, you get 12 action-packed issues of Hoofbeats and an insider's view of America's sport. Get into harness racing. Call for your subscription to Hoofbeats today.
Where in the world would you go if there were no Las Vegas? What other place will you ever find where you can spend the entire day teeing off, stepping out, or just winding down, and all night really living it up? Only in Las Vegas.
Tomorrow, Steve Collins defends his WBO middleweight title. Then Dana Rosenblatt faces Frank Savannah for the WBC Intercontinental Championship. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
Well, those are the times for next week's Digest. Hope we'll visit with you then. Right now, congratulations in order to Warren A. Jimmy Kroll, the trainer of Holy Bull, honored this past week by his peers as the United Thoroughbred Trainers of America's Trainer of the Year 1994. At the University of Arizona Racing Symposium in Tucson, UTTA officials Dave Casson, new president Jenks Fires, and executive director Tom Dorsey presenting Kroll with his bronze. Then we talked to Jimmy about his career year in 1994.
It was a fabulous year. First the Hall of Fame, then I'd be able to train a horse like Holy Bull, and now to top it off, why, this award, too much.
You can't blame Jimmy if he doesn't want 1994 to win. Congratulations also to the veteran jockey Eddie Maple, honored by his peers as the winner of the George Wolfe Award. The 46-year-old Maple was ridden in Ohio, New Jersey, Florida, but made his name in New York, riding there for more than 20 years. He was the last one to ride the Great Secretariat in his final start in Canada. He also rode a pretty good 2-year-old a few years back called DeHare. Well, 1993's juvenile champion DeHare's racing career is now over. Here you see DeHare on the outside in Robert Brennan's green Shamrock silks, winning this year's Fountain of Youth, where he defeated Holy Bull. DeHare re-injured himself in training this past Sunday in Florida, in the same area where he broke his left rear cannon bone before this year's Classics. He'll be retired to stud now at Ashford Stud in Kentucky. And Russell Bays in Northern California won his 400th race of the year this past Sunday. That is 3 years in a row now, equaling a record that Russell has won 400 or more races. Some reminders coming up on Sunday for quarter horse racing fans. It's the prestigious Champion of Champions. Join us at 2 o'clock Sunday on ESPN. And on ESPN2, a special day and time, the National Best 7. That'll be Sunday on ESPN2 at 4:30 Eastern. We'll see you next week on the Digest. The Daily Racing Form Racehorse Digest has been brought to you by America's Turf Authority, the Daily Racing Form, by the American Quarter Horse Association, serving the American quarter horse racing industry and America's horse, and by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois-bred horses year-round. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. This has been an ESPN Sports presentation in association with Winner Communications.